Hi, it's Sally-Shakti. I'm your visionary writing coach. And welcome to Tarot and Astrology for Visionary Writers for the week of the 13th to the 19th of March, 2023. And it's another big week astrologically with a lot of energy. So let's jump straight into the astrology, and then we will also pull a tarot card to see which card wants to come out to support us in our writing and creativity this week. Welcome here if you are a visionary writer or creative who likes to use writing as your primary practice or as a support for your primary creative practice. This week, we have two very strong energies that are very current, and we're still building up to more strong energies as we move towards the Aries equinox and Pluto's ingress into the sign of Aquarius, which is happening next week on the 24th. That's coming up. Some of us might already be starting to feel and see and notice the effects of that, but I'll talk about that more next week, because this week we still have two strong and powerful energies that we are working with and will be for quite some time. Yesterday, on Sunday, the 12th of March, we had Jupiter conjunct Chiron in Aries. And that energy is still with us now. And that energy is an energy of amplifying the core wounds that are driving our soul journey in this lifetime. And those core wounds might very well be related to what we're writing, how we write, how we show up in our creativity. Chiron in Aries is a lot to do with the wounded masculine. This Aries energy has been strong for us this past few weeks, with a lot of planets and a lot of energy showing up in Aries. And we're still, as I said, moving towards the Aries equinox, and the sun moving into Aries next week too. So this is still a strong energy signature, this fire, this initiatory fire, the creative fire. How do we create? How do we initiate and ignite that spark in ourselves to show up on our soul's path and our soul's purpose? This is a big question that a lot of us are working with at the moment, and Jupiter is really amplifying that question for us. So if you're at the beginning of your writing path, or if you are firmly on that path, or if you have taken a break and taken some time away, maybe the past few years have called your attention to other aspects of your life, other things that you need to be doing, other healing work that you need to attend to, and now you're feeling ready to come back to writing or to come back to your creative practice, Aries is asking us to look at how we use our energy, how we're showing up, using our energy. What are we initiating? What are we creating? What are we bringing into the world for the first time with that initiatory spark of life? And as visionary writers and creatives, we all are here to bring something new, something that has previously been intangible, something that has not yet been seen in this world. We are here in our own way to bring that into form. And that leads me into the second big energy that we're working with still, which is now the transit of Saturn through Pisces, which started last week on Tuesday. So we're almost a week into that transit. And by the end of this week, on Sunday the 19th, here in the British Isles, Saturn will be at 1 degree 22 of Pisces, and that is the new moon point. That's where we had the Saturn new moon a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. So go back to that video, go back to your Saturn, go back to your Pisces new moon journaling practice, and take a look at what intentions you were calling in with that new moon, because those intentions are about to be given more energy and more focus as Saturn comes through and moves across that degree point. On the same day, 19th, Saturn will also be conjunct the moon. So we'll have both the moon and Saturn both together at that same degree point where we just had the new moon in Pisces. So whatever intentions you were setting, whatever visions you were calling in with that new moon in Pisces, Saturn, both Saturn and the moon will be energizing that point and that intention and that vision for you this week. And we'll be working strongly with that energy throughout this year as Saturn moves across that degree point 3 times throughout the rest of this year. So we'll have the first pass this Sunday. Saturn is asking us to work with in a way, the limitations, the finite structures and forms of this physical, visible world. But of course, Pisces invites us to explore and extend ourselves beyond the physical world into what is still as yet unmanifest, what has not yet taken form, or what is no longer in form, in physical form. In Pisces, we open ourselves to receive guidance from our spirit guides, our higher self, our intuition. And that can often feel very much at odds with the energy of Saturn, the very physical, mundane, form-bound energy of Saturn. I definitely have had a lot of difficulties in befriending this Saturn energy throughout my lifetime. And I'm really taking this next 3-year transit of Saturn in Pisces as an invitation to become friends with this Saturn energy in ways that will support me to create the structures I need and to create the forms that I need to co-create with spirit. So to do the Pisces work of opening myself to intuition, to higher guidance, to ancestors, to my spirit self, my spirit guides, to open up to the intangible, to open up to what is not yet manifest. It can be called the not yet manifest. It can be called the not yet conscious. It can be called the not yet become. Those new ideas often, but not always, those visions, the visions that we're here not only to carry, but to ignite into that spark through the Aries energy and to bring into form with this Saturn, encouraging us towards structure and foundation and form. This is a strong energy we're going to be working with. It's the energy of co-creation. It's how do we open ourselves to spirit and intuition and guidance and bring back the messages into this physical world to share with others. And that is what people have been speaking about very recently as the heroine's journey. The hero's journey is about going and defeating the obstacles. The heroine's journey is about bringing back the wisdom. And Saturn in Pisces is inviting us to do exactly that, to go out, to open ourselves beyond what is currently manifest in the physical world. That's why we're here. We're here to see new visions and to call in new possibilities. And we'll do that through our writing and through our creative art. We're here to bring in and to say things and to share visions that perhaps have not been seen in this world before. So Saturn also is asking us to create new forms in conjunction with spirit, in conjunction with our higher visions. And that's what I'm very interested in the kinds of poetry and the kinds of visionary writing that I explore and that I work with. Creating new forms and new structures for our creative practice that are essential and integral to the vision that is being shared and shown and revealed through that practice. So each new vision might be bringing with it a new form and a new structure. It's so important to be open to that and to read and expose ourselves to other people's artworks and allow their artworks to inform and influence us, so that when we are open to our intuition, we can begin to play around with form to create new structures. New visions require new structures, not only formally in terms of our writing and in terms of creative practice that we're doing, but also in terms of exactly what and how we are creating in the world. And when we're co-creating with spirit and we're co-creating collectively on this planet, it's essential that we bring in our visions and our messages through new forms and new structures. And I don't mean that we invent arbitrary new forms and structures to shove our visions into like a bucket, but the vision and the message and the voices and the guidance that not yet manifests actually reveals to us the form that it wants to take through the structure of what we are co-creating. And it's important to be open to that. So this is another way that we can really invite and work with this energy of Saturn in Pisces during this time, is to be open to new forms and structures that want to come through in your creative practice. And that might look messy. It might look unconventional. It will almost certainly look like nothing that has been seen before. So again, when we can lean into the Pisces energy, we're leaning into a greater degree of trust in ourselves and trust in what is coming through. That the visions that we're here to share can't be old necessarily in old forms. We're here also to invent and create and call in the new forms and the new structures that will be the vibrational frequencies that carry the new messages, and those new forms and structures in turn will help and be part of the co-creation of new forms, new structures. Sorry, you can hear the dog barking. Let me pause that a second. So I'm back, and postman has been. So to resume, as visionary writers and creatives, I see it as part of our practice, certainly for myself, and I'm calling in those who resonate with this message, that we're not just here to share new visions, although that is what we are here to do. But in order to share those new visions, we are also co-creating new forms and new structures that will be the containers and the vibrational frequencies, the mandalas, if you will, for those new visions to take root and become manifest in form in this world. And that might mean that often our creative works might feel messy or out of sync with what we already know, what's been already validated in our field, what other people around us are creating. And we're called to have higher levels of trust and higher levels of integrity, that what we're putting out is the best that it can be. We will know because it will resonate. And when it resonates, we can trust that what we're putting out is, and what we're creating is, what we are here to share. So if what you are writing or creating doesn't look or feel like what other people around you are doing or saying is right, you can trust in that process. And if it feels resonant to you, and if you also are finding resonance with others, trust in that, because that's that relationship between Saturn and Pisces that we're now really here to explore and dive into. And of course, just to go back and mention that Jupiter-Chiron conjunction is really calling us into the imperative to be on our soul's path with our creative practice and our visionary writing. So with that said, what's the card that's coming out to support, encourage, whoop, guide, and invite us. It is it's the King of Cups. Well, the way I looked at it when it came through, it was reversed, but I've just flipped it like this so that you can see it. So it's the King of Cups, and I'm working with the Elemental Power Tarot today. The King of Cups in this deck is described, I just remembered how it's described. It's described as the strategist of water. Now, isn't that Saturn in Pisces? The king is the strategist, Saturn, calling in shape, structure, form, purpose to the elemental water, the water element, the Pisces, this diving deep into not only the unconscious, but what the philosopher, 20th century philosopher Ernst Bloch called the not yet conscious. We dive into this realm beyond ordinary consciousness in order to bring back into form, into shape, through structure, through strategy. We bring back from beyond form, beyond ordinary consciousness, and we create with form, with the consciousness that we have, in a co-creative way, so that those forms and structures and the ways that we are manifesting those remain open to spirit, remain open to intuition, wisdom, guidance, remain open to other voices, maybe through collage or through a way of incorporating other voices with integrity, because those who've walked the path before have a lot to teach us and a lot to say to us. So this week really is all about this focus, how we can prepare in this week ahead as Saturn moves towards the new moon in Pisces point. How are we preparing to work with the visions we are given and bring them into form, perhaps through new structures that we co-create that will bring those new visions into form with a resonance that has not yet been manifest before on this earth. That is what we're here to do. That is what the King of Cups is inviting us to explore. And that is what this week's astrology is really strongly inviting us into as well. So these are powerful times. And if you are a visionary writer or creative and you are interested in finding out more about how we can work together, how we can be in a circle of support together or working one-to-one, please reach out and get in touch with me. Now is our time. Sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. You can always find me on Facebook and Instagram at Writing Thriving, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care.